Nobody saw this coming, not from Keanu Reeves. Hollywood has always had its fair share of drama, secrets, and feuds. But when someone like Keanu Reeves speaks out, people stop and listen. Known for his quiet nature, humble spirit, and staying far away from the spotlight unless it's for a movie, Keanu is the last person you'd expect to get caught up in celebrity controversy. Yet here we are, and the name he's tied to, none other than Whoopi Goldberg. It all started with a cryptic interview. Keanu didn't name names, but he talked about power struggles in Hollywood, about certain people who try to control narratives, bend situations to their advantage, and dominate sets with their influence. That's when the buzz started. Fans and insiders began connecting the dots. All signs pointed straight to Whoopi. What's going on behind the scenes? Why would Keanu, a man known for kindness and staying in his lane, suddenly risk his image to speak out? And why is Whoopi, the sharp-tongued, no-nonsense host of The View, now under such heavy scrutiny? This story isn't just about two stars clashing. It's about two very different personalities, each with powerful reputations, finally crossing paths in a way that caught the public off guard. One has spent decades using her voice unapologetically. The other has spent his career letting his work do the talking. But now, Keanu's breaking that silence. So what did he really say? Why is Whoopi suddenly at the center of a Hollywood storm? And what does this mean for their careers moving forward? Let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. The alleged rift, Keanu versus Whoopi. For decades, Keanu Reeves and Whoopi Goldberg have moved in completely different circles. He's the cool, reserved action hero. She's the bold, outspoken talk show host. If you asked most people a year ago, they'd probably say these two didn't have anything in common, much less any beef. But that's exactly why this recent revelation hit like a thunderbolt. During a rare, off-the-cuff interview, Keanu hinted that not everything in Hollywood is as it seems. He spoke about a certain someone who manipulates what happens on and off the set. Someone who controls stories, dominates discussions, and doesn't always treat people with respect. He never dropped a name, but Hollywood insiders and fans alike took those puzzle pieces and put them together. The image that emerged: Whoopi Goldberg. Now, Whoopi's no stranger to controversy. She's known for calling it like she sees it, sometimes rubbing people the wrong way in the process. But Keanu, this is different. He's built his entire reputation on being the guy who avoids drama, shows kindness to fans, and keeps things professional. So when he speaks up, people pay attention. Keanu went even further. He shared that he'd been warned about working with Whoopi by others in the industry. Some actors, according to him, even refused to be on the same project as her due to what they call aggressive behavior. Keanu didn't frame it like a personal vendetta. Instead, he sounded like someone who finally had enough of the behind-the-scenes toxicity and decided it was time to say something, no matter the cost. That choice stirred up a storm. Some fans couldn't believe it. They rushed to defend Whoopi, saying maybe Keanu had misunderstood her or that the stories he heard were exaggerated. Others felt betrayed. Why would Keanu, of all people, go after someone like Whoopi? Then again, many took his side, pointing out that he's always been genuine and soft-spoken. So if he's saying something, it must be serious. For Keanu, opening up was clearly not a decision made lightly. His calm nature isn't an act. He's someone who's been through a lot, someone who chooses peace over problems. But when he described the power dynamics he's seen firsthand, especially how some people demand control over their image, their environment, and the people around them, he made it clear that enough was enough. As for Whoopi, she's remained mostly tight-lipped, at least directly. She addressed the challenges of being a public figure on The View, talking about how hard it is to keep a consistent image under constant scrutiny. But she never mentioned Keanu by name. Her silence on that front has only made the rumors grow louder. This isn't just a case of two celebrities not getting along. It's a rare look into how power works in Hollywood, and how even the most beloved public personas might have shadows behind them. Whether this is a misunderstanding, a long-brewing grudge, or something more serious, one thing's clear: the dynamic between Keanu Reeves and Whoopi Goldberg has changed, and fans are watching every move. Keanu Reeves, from quiet star to global icon. Before the headlines and the unexpected feud, Keanu Reeves was already one of Hollywood's most beloved and respected stars. But unlike many of his peers, his journey to stardom was anything but flashy. Keanu didn't rise through scandal or hype. Instead, he carved out a career built on quiet dedication, humble charm, and a willingness to take risks, even when those risks didn't always pay off. His career began in the mid-1980s, with roles in television and a few small films. But it wasn't until 1989's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that Keanu really caught the public's eye. The film was a quirky time travel comedy, and Keanu's performance as the lovable goofball Ted helped make it a cult classic. While the role was light-hearted, it also threatened to typecast him. Some critics doubted whether he had the range to move beyond the slacker persona. But Keanu was determined to show he was more than just a one-note actor. In the early 1990s, he took on more serious roles in action and drama. He teamed up with Patrick Swayze in the surf heist film Point Break, and then hit it big again with the high-octane thriller Speed, alongside Sandra Bullock. The movie was a massive hit, and it turned Keanu into a full-blown action star. Yet Keanu wasn't interested in simply repeating the same formula. When offered Speed 2 and a massive $12 million paycheck, he shocked everyone by turning it down. He didn't believe in the sequel and didn't want to compromise his artistic values for a paycheck. That decision caused a rift with 20th Century Fox and led to a few years in the wilderness, professionally speaking. Films like Johnny Mnemonic and Chain Reaction flopped hard, and for a time, it looked like Keanu's star was fading. But that would all change in 1999 when he stepped into the role of Neo in The Matrix. The film wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural reset. With its groundbreaking visual effects, thought-provoking story, and unforgettable action sequences, The Matrix became an instant classic. Keanu's portrayal of Neo, the quiet hacker-turned-hero, resonated with audiences worldwide. It revitalized his career and showed once again that he was capable of carrying a blockbuster franchise. Over the next decade, Keanu continued working in a variety of genres, never afraid to take risks. He did romantic dramas like Sweet November, quirky indie films like Thumbsucker, and even made his directorial debut with the martial arts film Man of Tai Chi. He also formed a rock band, Dogstar, and toured with them in between filming. Then in 2014, when some thought his best years were behind him, Keanu roared back with John Wick. The film, centered around a grieving assassin who comes out of retirement, was a surprise hit. Keanu didn't just star in the film, he helped develop the character, trained extensively for the fight scenes, and worked closely with the filmmakers to shape the story. John Wick felt personal, raw, and deeply cinematic, and it reignited Keanu's reputation as an action icon. The success of John Wick led to a full-blown franchise, with each sequel upping the ante. Keanu also lent his voice to Toy Story 4 as the energetic stuntman Duke Kaboom, and even crossed into video games with a memorable role in Cyberpunk 2077. Through all of it, Keanu stayed true to himself, low-key, respectful, and intensely focused on the craft. That's why, when he broke his silence about the dynamics in Hollywood and hinted at trouble with Whoopi Goldberg, it caught everyone off guard. For a man who usually lets his work do the talking, Speaking up meant something serious was on his mind. Personal losses that shaped Keanu behind. Keanu Reeves' composed exterior lies a story marked by deep pain and personal tragedy. It's part of what makes him so relatable to fans. He's more than just a movie star. He's a man who's been through things that could break anyone. Yet somehow, he keeps going. That quiet strength, the kind you can't fake, is one of the reasons people listen when he speaks. And it's what makes his recent comments about Whoopi Goldberg feel so different. They didn't come from a place of drama. They came from someone who's seen life's darkest sides and still chooses truth. Keanu's personal struggles began early. In the late 1990s, he met and fell in love with actress Jennifer Syme. Their relationship was private, but meaningful. In 1999, the couple experienced a heartbreak no parent should ever face. Their daughter, Ava Archer Syme Reeves, was stillborn at 8 months. The tragedy devastated both of them. Not long after, Keanu and Jennifer quietly separated, trying to heal in their own ways. But just a year later, another blow came. Jennifer died in a car crash. She had been driving home from a party and lost control of her vehicle. It was sudden, brutal, and left Keanu grieving both a partner and the dream of a family they had lost together. But the heartbreak didn't stop there. Earlier in the 1990s, Keanu had already faced a terrifying battle within his family. His younger sister, Kim, was diagnosed with leukemia. Keanu stood by her side throughout her fight, even taking breaks from acting to be with her. He quietly donated millions to cancer research and hospitals, never once using it for publicity. Thankfully, Kim recovered, but the years of watching her suffer left a lasting impact on him. And then there was River Phoenix. Keanu and River weren't just co-stars, they were best friends. They starred together in the cult hit My Own Private Idaho, and their bond went far beyond the screen. River's sudden death in 1993 from a drug overdose outside the Viper Room in Los Angeles hit Keanu hard. He's spoken rarely about it, but when he does, you can hear the pain still lingering in his voice. "I miss him," he once said. "He was a real friend. He was someone I admired and loved deeply." All of these losses shaped Keanu's outlook on life. He's not flashy with his emotions, but the weight of his past is clear in the depth he brings to his characters and the humility he carries in real life. He's been known to ride the subway without security, give away a huge portion of his earnings to crew members, and sit down with strangers to just talk. His compassion isn't a brand, it's who he is. In more recent years, Keanu has found a sense of peace. His relationship with artist Alexandra Grant has brought some much-needed stability and joy into his life. The two have kept things mostly private, but their public appearances show a quiet bond that seems built on mutual respect and shared understanding. So when Keanu speaks, it doesn't come from ego. It comes from a place of experience, of seeing how people can hurt each other, and how healing isn't always linear. That's why his comments about Whoopi Goldberg raised eyebrows. He's not known for calling people out. In fact, he's spent most of his life avoiding the spotlight unless it's for a movie role. But maybe that's what makes this moment matter more, because if someone like Keanu, who's seen loss, grief, and the best and worst of people, says something's wrong, maybe it's time to pay attention. A closer look at Whoopi Goldberg. While Keanu Reeves has built his image on quiet resilience, Whoopi Goldberg has forged hers through fearless outspokenness. From her early days in comedy and theater to her long-running seat at The View, Whoopi has never been afraid to speak her truth, even when it made others uncomfortable. But her boldness has also sparked a fair share of controversy, which now makes her recent clash with Keanu feel like another chapter in an already dramatic public life. Born Corinne Elaine Johnson in New York City, Whoopi broke into entertainment with a unique mix of humor, heart, and hard truths. Her one-woman Broadway show caught the attention of Steven Spielberg, who cast her in The Color Purple. The film launched her into stardom, earning her an Oscar nomination and setting the tone for a career defined by breaking barriers. She later won an Academy Award for Ghost, making her one of the few performers to have won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, commonly known as the EGOT. But it's the view that's defined the later stage of Whoopi's career. Since joining the daytime talk show in 2007, she's taken on the role of moderator and cultural commentator, and she's never played it safe. From day one, Whoopi came in swinging. Her very first episode sparked controversy after she addressed NFL player Michael Vick's dogfighting scandal with comments that stirred public debate. And that was just the beginning. Over the years, Whoopi has clashed with countless public figures. In 2010, she and co-host Joy Behar famously walked off the set during a heated exchange with Bill O'Reilly. In 2018, she had a fiery on-air argument with Fox News analyst Jeanine Pirro, accusing her of spinning narratives and bringing political propaganda into the conversation. Then came the viral moment with actress Cara Delevingne, where Whoopi shut down her co-host's attempts to excuse Cara's awkward interview with a blunt reminder, "Suck it up." Whoopi doesn't mince words. Her style is direct, and she doesn't care if people like it. To her fans, that's part of the charm. She says what others are thinking, and she does it without apology. But to critics, that same attitude can come off as combative, dismissive, or even controlling. And in the world of daytime TV, where the lines between discussion and performance are thin, Whoopi's dominance at the table can sometimes feel less like leadership and more like authority. Her relationship with fellow icons has also seen its share of tension. One of the most talked about riffs was with Oprah Winfrey. Despite starring together in The Color Purple, the two reportedly didn't speak for decades. Rumors swirled for years until they finally addressed it on Oprah's show in 2010. Oprah admitted she always felt Whoopi didn't like her, and Whoopi shot back with her trademark honesty. "If I ever had an issue with you, you knew it." The moment offered a glimpse into Whoopi's world. No silent grudges, just brutal honesty. These moments help explain why Keanu's comments have had such an impact. While it's shocking to hear Keanu criticize someone, it's less surprising to see Whoopi in the middle of controversy. Her no-filter personality has earned her both praise and pushback throughout her career. She's a woman who has fought to be heard, and she's done it her way, loud, proud, and unbothered by the noise. But now that noise is different, because this time it's coming from someone like Keanu, someone who doesn't do this kind of thing. And whether Whoopi brushes it off or not, it's clear that people are starting to wonder if there's more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. The bigger picture: Whoopi's public persona under fire. Keanu Reeves' comments didn't just put Whoopi Goldberg in the spotlight, they cracked open a larger conversation about public image, power, and authenticity in Hollywood. His words, subtle as they were, triggered a wave of speculation. Is Whoopi's bold persona just part of the act? Or is there a more complicated story behind the confident host millions see on TV every day? It's no secret that Hollywood runs on image. Celebrities spend years curating how they want to be seen, through interviews, red carpets, social media posts, and carefully worded public statements. For someone like Whoopi, whose brand is centered on blunt truth-telling and fearlessness, the expectation is that what you see is what you get. But Keanu's comments hinted that there might be a gap between the public version of Whoopi and the private one. He never directly said her name. Still, when he described a high-profile star who controls narratives, manipulates behind the scenes, and pushes others out of their lane, People immediately assumed he was talking about Whoopi. Whether or not that was his intent, the reaction revealed just how much tension exists beneath the surface of her public image. Not long after the interview, Whoopi addressed the controversy. Sort of. On an episode of The View, she spoke broadly about the pressures of fame. She said being in the public eye means always being judged, and that it's difficult to maintain the same tone or energy every day. She denied having a secret agenda, but didn't comment directly on Keanu's words. And that silence, rather than calming things down, only made the buzz louder. It raised uncomfortable questions. Has Whoopi been using her platform on The View to dominate conversations more than contribute to them? Are the heated moments we see on air just the tip of a larger pattern of control? And more importantly, how much of her boldness is authentic and how much is about protecting her status? For fans, it's hard to know what to believe. Whoopi has earned her reputation through decades of hard work, talent, and breaking barriers. She's an EGOT winner, a cultural force, and a voice for social issues. But like all public figures, she's also human, and humans are complicated. The real issue here may not be whether Whoopi is bad or good, but whether Hollywood as a whole has created a space where power is often confused with personality. Keanu's rare act of speaking out pulled back the curtain a bit, not just on Whoopi, but on the machine that drives celebrity culture. Sometimes the people who look the strongest on the outside are the ones playing the most difficult games behind the scenes. Whether the public continues to see Whoopi as a fearless truth-teller or starts questioning the reality behind the persona, one thing is clear: the conversation has changed. And Keanu, usually the one staying out of the spotlight, was the unexpected voice that started it. Hollywood reacts, sides are taken. As the story spread and speculation about Keanu and Whoopi intensified, the rest of Hollywood didn't stay silent. Slowly, subtly, voices started to emerge. And just like fans on social media, the industry began to split. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was becoming a line in the sand. One of the first big names to react was Denzel Washington. Though he didn't call out the situation directly, he gave an interview where he praised Keanu Reeves for being one of the most honest and grounded people in the business. He said Keanu wasn't the type to stir up unnecessary drama, and suggested that if Keanu had spoken out, he must have had good reason. Sandra Bullock, who's worked with Keanu on multiple films and remains a close friend, also chimed in. "He doesn't fake anything," she said. "If he's saying something, it's not to hurt. It's because it's true." Their words didn't go unnoticed. Suddenly, Keanu wasn't standing alone in this. It was a quiet show of solidarity, but it spoke volumes. People who knew him, who'd worked with him for decades, were standing behind his integrity. Meanwhile, over on The View, Joy Behar, Whoopi's longtime co-host, dismissed the controversy entirely. She laughed it off on air, saying, "People always want to make drama out of nothing," and waved away the idea that Whoopi could be a problem behind the scenes. "She's strong, sure, but so am I. That's what makes this show work." Her comments reflected a kind of deflection, a refusal to give the story more oxygen. But outside of talk shows and red carpets, the story had already gone viral. Online, hashtags like #TeamKeanu and #StandWithWhoopi started trending. Fans debated fiercely in the comments of entertainment blogs and on Twitter. Was Keanu right to speak up, or was he unfairly targeting a woman known for breaking boundaries in a tough industry? Some felt he was using his platform responsibly, finally saying something that others were too scared to mention. Others thought it was a rare misstep, pointing out the imbalance in power and perception when a man as beloved as Keanu questions a woman who's long been polarizing. The media jumped all over it, of course. Tabloids framed it as a battle between Hollywood royalty. Think pieces were published daily, some analyzing the deeper implications of gender and race in the fallout, others focusing on the industry's tendency to protect powerful voices while silencing quieter ones. The headlines got bolder. Reeves versus Goldberg, the feud no one saw coming. And is this the View's breaking point? Whether it was fair or not, the narrative was taking on a life of its own. This wasn't just about Keanu or Whoopi anymore. It had become a cultural moment, a question of truth, perception, and what happens when two very different forces in Hollywood collide. And with both stars staying mostly quiet, the world was left to interpret the silence in their own way. What comes next? Reconciliation or fallout? Now that the dust has started to settle, one question remains. Where do Keanu Reeves and Whoopi Goldberg go from here? For Keanu, this moment is uncharted territory. He's built his reputation on kindness, professionalism, and staying out of the fray. And yet, by stepping into this unexpected spotlight, he's shifted perceptions. Some fans now see him as more than just a quiet actor. They see a man willing to speak his truth, even if it's uncomfortable. It's earned him respect from those who value honesty, but it's also opened him up to criticism from those who feel he stepped too far out of character. There's also a chance this could have a lasting impact on his career. Keanu has always operated a bit outside the traditional Hollywood system, making choices based on values, not politics. This might win him even more fans, but it could also make future collaborations more complicated if others in the industry start to pick sides. For Whoopi, the stakes may be even higher. She's no stranger to controversy, but this one hits differently. It didn't come from an internet troll or a political rival. It came from someone with nearly universal goodwill, someone known for avoiding conflict. That makes the allegations feel weightier, harder to dismiss. If she continues to avoid addressing Keanu directly, the speculation may not go away. It could chip away at the public's perception of her authenticity, a quality she's always leaned into. On the other hand, if she chooses to confront the issue head-on, it might offer a chance for redemption or even reconciliation. Because here's the thing, Keanu isn't the type to hold grudges, and Whoopi, for all her fire, has shown in the past that she can forgive, clarify, and move forward. So, while this rift feels sharp right now, it's not impossible that we could one day see these two sitting down for a conversation, putting the drama behind them.